This is a quick demonstration of some basic edits on WordPress for any site using the Avada theme. So we're here at a website. This is Suter PR, a recent customer. And to get to any login, the first thing we do is we type on the end of the URL, type wp-admin and click OK or enter. And that gives us a login page. So you'll have a username or an email address and a password that you've already been allocated or you've chosen with the login that was created for you. I've just remembered this, so I can click on mine and click on login. I'll then see the main page, which is like the dashboard of the site, and this gives us access to everything that we can edit on the WordPress backend. For most users, you'll basically be restricting yourselves to editing the content, mostly the text and some minor elements of both pages, posts and portfolio. So we'll have a look at these items now and have a look at editing, so one of the pages. So as you hover your mouse over these items, you'll see that an extra menu pops out. So on pages, you can either click on that, or we can click on all pages. And we'll get a list of all the current pages, the main pages that make up the site. So not the blog posts, they're separate, and not the portfolio, they're separate. These are just the main pages of the site. So I'm just going to take a look at one of these and look at editing the text. So as you scroll down the page, as you move your mouse over these items, the menu changes and gives you the options to edit, quick edit, bin the page, which actually delete it, puts it into the bin. You can recover it if you do that by accident. You can just go and view the page, or you can clone it and create a complete copy of the page. We'll look at that a bit later when we maybe do portfolio or post edits. So if you look at the home page, we click on edit and the screen changes and gives us the overview and the whole view of that page. So it just loads up. So this is using the Avada, called the Fusion Builder editor. So we can use the default editor by clicking this button here, but most of the time I recommend that we stay in the Fusion Builder editor. It's easy, it's like a drag and drop visual sort of editor. Gives us all the elements rather than trying to edit code and the actual HTML behind the pages. So don't worry about these first ones too much. This is just a code block. This actually renders the slider. So this code block here and the details behind it just show the slider on the page that sort of shows 6 or 7 images scrolling across. We scroll down the page and we get to one of these containers. So the containers are just an area of the page, and usually 100% width, of the site, and then inside that container you can put a full width item like this. Is just a full width item, goes across the whole page. It's very nicely spaced out. Or we can have 2 half size elements, or 4 quarters, or a mixture of 3/5, 1/5, another 1/5, and just to lay out the page as we do. We'll have a look at those a little later on. But as you hover your mouse again over these elements, the text changes. So out here you'll see that the text is visible. As we hover the mouse over the element, it changes to give us these 4 icons. These 4 icons are edit, and that allows us to edit the elements of this particular block, whether it's a piece of text or another type of item, and we'll look at different types of items later on. We can clone this element, so if you just want to clone it completely, take a complete copy. That's useful in some places if you're just creating multiple lines and you want to make a few changes, so rather than editing the whole thing and creating it all again. This will do a save, or save if you've made any changes, and this will actually delete this element and remove it from the page. So in this case we just want to look at the edit, and this one's a bit strange because if we looked at the site, we'll see that this element is actually a block of white text on a pink background, and when we look at it in the editor, as I'll click here, we'll look on the edit button. So we'll see this box here, I'm showing you here, this area, this big blank area on the page, isn't actually blank at all. It's the white text, and it's just that it's, in this particular instance, it's white text on a white background. On the actual page, it shows on a pink background because the outside container is coloured pink. But for the purposes of this, what I recommend, if you do have any white text on your WordPress page, just highlight the whole thing go to here and click on the drop down where it says text color and pick black. It's just a temporary change just so we can work on this and edit it quite easily and we can see what's happening. So we can edit a particular item of text, delete it, change the spelling. I'm not going to make any changes here, but it's just like changing any other piece of text in a Word editor or a text editor or whatever you might be used to. So we make our changes, do whatever we want to do, make sure the wording reads how we want it to read and we're all happy with it. And then before we leave, we change it all back to white. So we highlight the whole amount of text again, go back to here and change it to white, put it back how it was, and click on save. Now any changes we've made at this point aren't complete. They're not written back to the database, not written back to the website. If you went to the website, you wouldn't see those changes you just made. So if we scroll back up the page, we'll see here at the top right we have an update button. You need to click on that update button, which I'll do now. So that update has updated the page. It'll update the page, store the details away that we've made changes to, and re-display the page for us to make any more changes we may want to make. Okay, so we can scroll down a little further. I'll scroll down to a little further. So I'll just show you one of the other items. So flip boxes, for example, these are what are called elements. So within Avada we call these elements. So we have flip boxes. If we click on this item here that says plus element, I'll just show you these very quickly. I won't add one. But if we really want to add an element, we click on this, we'll get a box displayed that says, well, what type of element do you want to add? We looked at text before, and that's just a text block we can see here. We can have tabs, and we can have a number of tabs across the page. We can have a title box and a title area. We can have sharing boxes, all sorts of things. Person, which gives sort of person details. If you've got a team and you want to introduce people, it's quite useful. Various items that you can lay out your page and make your page look how you want to look. So YouTube, on the first page on this site, we have about 6 videos, and they're in place and located using a YouTube container. So I'll just cancel this. I'm not going to add a new one in this instance. But the flip boxes, for example, so if I wanted to add flip boxes in, this has been added in before, but if I look at the edit on a flip box, there's a lot more going on than the previous text box. So there's usually some parameters over here on the right that control how the element works overall. So it's its number of columns. In this case it's 3 columns. We can change that with the slider, or we can put it in here and change the number. That's easy to do. Or we can do this and add a flip box at this location. So this is the 3 flip boxes that exist on this particular page, and in the same way that I edited the text, I've got similar buttons here. So there's an edit button, a clone button, and a delete button. So if I click on the edit, I then get another sort of sub box, if you like, that says what's the content of the flip box. So the flip box front side heading is located here, and the back side heading is located here, and so on. And then the actual text within the flip box is located down here. And we can make that coloured, we can change the colour of the font, change the colour of the background, as we see the sort of standard pink that this site uses, and various other parameters. We can use icons, we can use all sorts of things on this flip box. Okay, so these are all the parameters we can change. So a lot more going on than just a straightforward text box that basically just contains text. Again, you click on save, and then save again on the actual flipbox item, and then again, if we have made changes, you need to go back up to the top and click on update and update the page, and we'll then just re-display the page and re-display the page for us. There we go. Okay, and then if we went to visit the site, we would see all our changes reflected in the site. It's in real time, it's making the changes straight away. And that's about it for this first introduction. That's just editing pages in your WordPress backend. Thank you very much.